remember in part one, we couldn't get her started. She kept flooding that spark plug, fouling it out. Every time I pull it, it was wet. And even after we cleaned the carb, put it back on, float wasn't stuck. So here's part two, where we get down to some real business.
I'm gonna go back in, make sure that the float height, make sure it's at the correct setting, and put it back on, see if she'll start. Did notice this little cut. I just hope it's not all the way through. I don't think it is, but let's see. Should do the top one, that way there's no spillage. That boy's really on there. Got her. Let's see if we can wrestle it out. Alright, so we're opening up this car because when we first got the bike, the gentleman had it running, but when he turned on the petcock, he turned it right back off automatically. He said there was a problem with the petcock. But if it's a flow problem, I'm quicker to believe that it's maybe the float. So anyways, I pulled it apart the first time, because it was leaking real bad too, and I fixed the leak with a little bit of Teflon tape around the gasket, and I reset the bowl height, which I shouldn't have done, I don't think. I think I should have tested to make sure the needle was stopping the flow. So the way I know to do that is we blow through here. Get something. Okay. It doesn't feel like anything's going through. I think it just needs another good cleaning. Let's go through this bad boy again. So the guy told me he put a brand new filter in the CR, and he definitely did, but did not oil it. So basically the sand still gets straight through there. Let's see if you can see all the sand that still gets through. Look at that. That's why you gotta oil your air filter. We got a Lucas foam filter oil. I'm just gonna kind of put that all over. Then we just take our bag and kind of scrunch it all around. Some weather coming in here. Okay, air filter's back in and oiled. I think we're just about ready to start it. We're gonna check and see how the oil is, and then we'll probably try to start it.
All right, so we check the oil. Oil's milky, bad sign. So we go ahead and check the water. coolant, it's low. So I start tracing the tubes in the radiator to see if there's a leak somewhere. And right where the water pump housing seats into the left case, I believe it's the inner clutch housing, where those come together and the water pumps through to cool the engine, uh, it's completely covered in epoxy. So I start to kind of scratch it away and it's just buried in epoxy. Wiggle it a little bit and it kind of comes loose and shows a crack and water starts to seep out. So water has been mixing all in the engine with the oil, and that's why it's flooding every single time. It's throwing water up into the engine, I believe. So this is pretty bad, and you can see here where the water's flowing out. So they really did a good job with the epoxy and painted over it to disguise the issue here. All right, so first we're gonna remove all these bolts. You can see here's where I wiggled it and it cracked. All right, so first we're gonna get this brake out of the way. Uh, just disengage this pin right here from the caliper and then pulled the brake up out of the way, the lever. Next I took off the clutch, clutch cover, just to give me some more access. And then these bolts here are size specific, so that's why you see me here taking this video, so I know exactly where they go. I did find an inner clutch housing, which is the part I need, on eBay, but it was not, I'm sorry, easy to find. It was not easy. I searched and searched and searched. They just don't make parts for these old bikes. And you have to really study those pictures to make sure parts aren't worn out on them. I found the cleanest one I could. It was $300 with tax from eBay. Ordered it, and so we're going to try to get everything ready before it comes. You can see somebody welded the linkage on the power band, but we do have to take this power band apart, at least disconnect it from the top end so we can get the inner clutch housing off. You can see all the goop they had on there everywhere. They used sealant everywhere, gooping out. I don't even think they put gasket.
All right, so now that the linkage is off, we can pull this inner clutch housing out. That's the part we need.
All right, so I've got some bad bikes in the past, and I normally wouldn't put somebody down about their restoration, but the way this guy hid this from me, I'm forced to do it. Look at this terrible paint job. Didn't take any time to do any of the prep work. Look at this. And here it is, the worst part of it all. I would never hide something like this from somebody when I sold them a bike. When I say it's good, it's good. I don't think he used gaskets anywhere. I think this is just sealant. Terrible. Look at the way he painted these plastics. Ugly. It's got a new seat. That's nice. Some new grips. Pretty much a complete bike, and that's what it's got going for it. And, it's at the right home because it's going to get rescued. So we got it all ready last night. We're just waiting on our new part. And thank God everything inside looks really good. All the gear is good, no teeth missing. Clutch looks pretty good. And thank God it was just that housing and I was able to find it. All right, so now we're just waiting on the part. Uh, in part three, the final chapter, we'll get her all slapped back together. And a little spoiler alert, we'll get her going. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button and turn on your notifications. That way you know when the next one comes. See you soon.